Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different with the market. As crazy as it is, there's no better time than to dig into the niches, dig into the older stuff, dig into the stuff that no one's looking at the moment. Not the new shiny thing, but maybe there's some older stuff. Maybe there's some exclusive Japanese stuff that you want to take a look at because that's where you're going to find the deals. Thankfully, there have been so many Pokemon cards released that not everything can be pumped all at the same time. You still got to do your research. You got to make sure it's a good price. You got to make sure you do some learning beforehand. It sucks, but that's the hobby that we're in. That's what it comes down to. All right, so let's say you're on Reddit. You see this post by Oligolos, who says, finally got them all rare Yukimori clay cards. These are some stamped cards. People love stamped cards, right? So let's take a look. We got the old Claymation Yukimoris, and they got the Pokemon Center stamp on them. We can take a nice little look at them individually here. And you're saying, oh, damn, I love Pikachu, and I love Clay. So you might want to look these up. Now, important that you are looking at this stuff. Make sure that it's not, it hasn't spiked in price recently, that sort of thing. And this doesn't mean that you have to go after these particular cards. I'm going to show you how to look them up, how to figure out what they are, where they came from. And this goes for English too. Usually you can get the answer on Bulbapedia. So if we look here, we can go to the DP promos. And we got the Pokemon 10th Anniversary Commemorative Card, Pokemon Center Tokyo from 2008-06. So we know where it came from. That's a good start. We can get on over to Buyee. We're going to be using Buyee for these examples, tutorial, and coupon links in the description and pinned comment. Sign up with one of my two links, referral links, to get 10% off your first purchase or 2,000 yen off. Pick the one that saves you the most money depending on what you want to purchase. I don't directly get anything for the referral link, but they are a channel partner. They have sponsored videos and content. They've helped with many of the Japanese opening streams and videos on the channel. Now, we can do some searches here right on the Buyee site. Again, use the tutorial if you're not familiar with it. If you're buying Japanese cards, if you have any interest in buying anything from Japan, you should be learning how to do it yourself, not relying on somebody else that's going to import it. And you do have to be cautious depending on what site you're purchasing from, because Buyee is just purchasing it. You're saying, hey, Buyee, buy this for me. You can have them check the package to make sure the item matches, but you got to make sure you're buying authentic items. You got to make sure that you can see what the condition is like. Sometimes you can take a risk on it, but know when you're taking a risk and know how much money you're taking that risk for. So through the Buyee site here, if you're buying anything from, this is a J Direct. So this is like your Yahoo, essentially. Yahoo, they changed the name for some reason. We got auctions, we got shopping, we got Mercari, and no, not the Mercari in the US. This is Mercari Japan, Rakuten, etc. So you can use the site here. You can also use it on other sites. There is a Chrome extension where you can add to cart on other websites that are more reputable, and you have zero concern of getting scammed, because if it's a big reputable site, they're not going to scam you on something. We'll take a look at that towards the end of the video. But back to the topic here. We're going to take a look through here. We can do the individual searches for these. You do want to check all the websites to make sure you're finding a best option. You can cross-reference if there's prices on eBay, etc. Typically, you're going to get a better price when you shop directly from Japan, not somebody that bought it from Japan and then is reselling it. Not always the case. And you got to do your research. You got to do your digging to make sure you're getting a good price on any of these things. Second card, and I know what you're saying, Rattle, what the hell? Is this just, are you just going to show us 5 Pikachus? No, we're not. We are going to show you 2 Pikachus to start off here. This one's pretty cool. In the United States, I guess elsewhere, everywhere out of Japan, outside of Japan, we have not been fortunate enough to get Ash Ketchum on a Pokemon card, but we have Ash's Pikachu here. Pretty sick. Level X's. Level X's are a little bit crazy at the moment. There was a point in time where no one wanted them. Now people want them. So be a little bit cautious with that. At least on the English side, we've seen some crazy price increases on that stuff. I still have a few that I'm missing. Gonna have to pick those up. We can go on to Bulbapedia, and we can see that this was a movie commemoration special pack from 2009. Sick. Same goes if you're looking up English variants. If you're like, why is this one Cosmos and this one's Line Hollow? We had someone in the Discord ask about that recently, And usually Bulbapedia has the answer. Sometimes you got to do a little bit more digging if they don't have the origin of what the card's from, what the product is. But you can find it all. It's on the internet, thankfully. Someone out there at some point has documented where stuff comes from. So here is the special pack. And when you're doing searches in Japan, Bulbapedia or wherever else you're looking it up is usually very helpful, that they're going to show you what it is in Japanese. And you can copy paste that. And it's typically better to copy paste that than use the English translation in terms of finding all of the listings. The file can't be seen, but you guys kind of saw what was going on there. So we got the Pikachu with the ash on it. How cool is that? We can take a look, and it looks like there are quite a few listings. Again, go through all the different sites here built into the Buyee website. And then if you have others where you want to search for it, depending on what it is, other sites are going to be a good option. You have the ability to request that they purchase from somewhere if the extension doesn't work on that site. I know this is a lot, but you can go ahead. You can take a look. Sometimes the pictures are going to be bad, especially from like the third-party seller type websites. If the pictures are bad, be careful. You might get something that is not in the condition that is stated. You got to read through the description, make sure there's no shenanigans going on, make sure you know what the real card looks like and that it's a real card in the photo. And here we go. What we got? Oh, Mercari has some as well. So with something like this that's a little bit more available, it's going to be easier to pick and choose and see what the best price is. Auctions are usually going to be your friend, but not always. Depends on how obscure the card is. And you might have to do like a daily search. You might have to have it saved, go on, hit Buyee, go check the different sites to see if a certain card pops up or if it pops up for a price that you want, especially if you're looking for a sealed unit here. I'm going to go ahead and assume that 740,000 yen is a lot for this. But again, I'm not pricing this all the time. You'd have to keep an eye on it. Check your solds, check your other websites, make sure you're getting a good deal. All right. Next, for all the Eeveelution fans, we got a Flareon, Vaporeon, and Jolteon from the Pokemon Card Trainers Volume 4 in January of 2002. Oh my goodness, we're going back in time. All right, so we got the Flareon here. Very cool artwork. Very, very cool. Gotta like it. Awesome, right? We got the Vaporeon just chilling in the water. I don't know if I can zoom in on this. Oh, yeah, we're zooming. We're zooming right now. Pretty cool stuff. And the Jolteon. Now we zoomed on all of Bulbapedia. There's your Jolteon. Looking majestic. We got the old shared artwork. You got to love when they have the shared artwork, and it makes you want to get all three. Now, you're going to have to look. You're going to have to take a looky-loo to see if it's better to buy all three at once. Sometimes they'll have a package deal. I think one of these sites has a package deal here. So here's an example. We got a place bid, so you might get a better deal that way. Usually the case, but not always the case. And again, it depends on how. If you catch somebody that just happens to list one low, be careful for the like too good to be true, poor pictures. We have the combined lot here, a little bit on the expensive end. If we're looking at a whole lot less per card, it's going to depend what condition you're happy with as well. And then there's always some like graded copies that end up finding their way to Japan. So if that's what you're looking for, you might find that on there as well. Now, should mention also that Buyee, November 6th until the end of November, they'll be sending out coupons to first-time buyers. That include like item cost, service fee, and shipping coupons that can be applied to the same order. So you might want to hold off and wait until that. If there's not something that you want to pick up immediately, if you find a screaming deal, it might not be worth waiting. Sign up now. Keep an eye on it. Again, I don't get anything directly from the referral link. They are a channel partner. They have sponsored content, provided me with coupons and such to make some of the content previously. Cool. Is that enough disclosure? Channel partner. Sponsored channel partner. Good. Regardless of that, I've used them for years, long before even making YouTube videos. This is a good start. Their sister company, Tenzo, is where you're going to kind of I would lead off with using Buyee primarily. Then when you get into Tenzo, it's kind of the same thing where you ship everything to them. But in this case, you'd have sort of your own address that you can go shop anywhere, send the stuff to a box, they package it up. You can combine it all into one package, so you're not getting sent individual packages for everything. Not to mention the fact that a lot of websites in Japan, you can't purchase from outside of Japan. So without being there, having a best buddy that's living there that you can send stuff to, these are the best options. Now, let's get into some, you guys like Gen 3? I like Gen 3. We got Ash's Trico, Maze Torchic, and Brock's Mudkip that were elementary school magazine promos from September 2003. Whoa, we're throwing it back, way back. And this goes for anything, whether it's new, old. You can take a look for this stuff. A lot of cool stuff. We got another card with Ash Ketchum on it. Unfortunately, not in the English variety. That's my favorite stuff from Japan, is the stuff that wasn't reprinted. And I try not to collect Japanese cards, but I can't help myself. When there's stuff that hasn't come over here, where there's like Versus series, the web stuff, and sometimes the art comes over, but it's a different format. In this case, this is just straight up Japanese only. The odds of us getting this is basically none at this point in time with the age of these cards that we're taking a look at. We got Maze Torchic there. Pretty cool. And we got a Brock's Mudkip. I don't know why anyone would ever pick Mudkip. What's your Gen 3? I like Gen 3, but it's not for the starters. Sorry, starter guys. All right, Linktree before we get into the final selection. Thank you for using the Linktree. If you want to support the channel here, the best way to do so are the free ways to do so. Don't send me money. I'd rather you guys go buy something that you actually want. Go find a good deal on it. You can use the discount codes here in order to save some money and support the channel at the same time. Places that I recommend shopping. And then there's a bunch of just click it before you shop for the things that you're going to buy anyway. Much appreciated to everyone that does that. Thank you very much to Card Market. In terms of if you're trying to pick up some regional exclusives, this is a great option. If you're in the European countries, you can go ahead and use Card Market as you will. Singles are a good purchase. They're always a better value, but also just be careful. Reminder, be careful about the current market is wonky. New stuff is going to be too expensive, or it's going to be less expensive in the future. That's traditionally how it works on almost everything. And then also we have some market manipulators that are going to be pumping some cards. So if you see anything that spiked in price, be wary. All right. Lugia. We got a Pokepark Lugia that was only in Japan from the Lugia Spinning Ship attraction in 2005. Holy moly. So might be a little bit familiar with the artwork on the left here. But the one on the right, Japan only. That's the one we're taking a look at today. That's the one that we're going to do a little searchy-loo for. You can see there are different options here, different price points. We got some that are sealed, some that are not sealed, depending on your preference. Just because something is sealed doesn't mean that it's in a mint condition. So keep that. If you want to collect a sealed copy, make sure you're looking at the photos, and it can be a little bit harder to tell if there's damage within the packaging. It can happen. Even the Burger Chew. Be careful with the Burger Chew. The amount of copies that people have, the amount of hype that is driven into the Burger Chew, be careful. Again, and it's almost always getting a 10. Other than if somebody accidentally jams the fries in too hard and damages the pack. There's only 2 cards in the pack, so if you buy a sealed pack, you could be pulling out one of the very few damaged Burger Chews in existence. Now, I will touch on, before I let you guys go, UUT is my absolute favorite site. Not sponsored, but this is crazy. So if you're not looking for the most screaming of deal, but you're looking for something that is just mint to the fullest extent, like the amount of care that they give in only putting the stuff into sections. So if you can't read Japanese, this is Pokemon right here. Or if you want any other Japanese card games, you can go pick these up here. This is great for like the modern stuff. If you're like, Rattle, I don't want that old stuff. I want the new stuff. You can go in here. You can find like single card sales. You can go expansion pack. If we want Inferno X, we got some in there. Usually all the newest sets. And I did notice that recently they added, if you're like, I don't want to open any product, but I want one of each card. Unfortunately, we're missing a couple here if you wanted to just add to cart all. But you got to use the extension, the Buyee extension for this one. They do have now, I noticed they put out like it's like all the commons and uncommons. So you can just buy those all at once. You don't have to individually add each to cart, because you can only add 50 items per cart on the Buyee extension. So that'll save you some space there, so you don't have multiple shipments if you're just trying to complete a set. Crazy, right? All right, that's all I got for you. Again, the tutorial is going to go more in depth on how to use Buyee. Highly suggested if you have any interest in buying Pokemon cards or anything else from Japan. That's a good place to start. Once you get comfortable with that, try out the old Tenzo for some stuff that might be even like Pokemon Center Japan. You can pick up most of the stuff. It's a whole wait for it, but it's a whole nother level to get into the lottery type stuff when there's Pokemon product that's too in demand. You're gonna have to get like a Japanese phone number, and it's a whole process. So start with this. This is the starting point. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this was insightful. Hopefully this like shows people to some extent that there's like other things that you can look at other than the new shiny thing. At some point, the new shiny thing is no longer the new shiny thing, and you can typically pick it up after that. So like even buying the brand new set, while you are going to save some money by just picking up the singles, you're probably better off holding off on those as well. Take care. Join the Discord. We got the restock notifications. Don't let your friends pay for restock notifications. They're the same. They're free. Largely thanks to Tap, who's in the Discord, the Discord wizard, the restock wizard. Give him a couple hearts in general chat. Bye.